Sukuna did not lose to a stronger sorcerer. I need y'all to sit with that. Because the thing that finally put him in the ground is the exact same thing that killed the Roman Empire. I'm not taking shit back, by the way. I said what I said. Rome was the strongest force the planet had ever seen. Nobody outmuscled it. It rotted from the inside and got folded by the same people it used to run. Sukuna died the same way, beat for beat, 1,500 years later. Same 3 mistakes. I'm going to walk you through all 3, and I promise you, it gets worse for this man every single chapter. Rome called itself the Eternal City, and they meant it. The Romans genuinely believed their empire was a permanent feature of the universe, like gravity. And that certainty is exactly why they stopped checking the cracks. Now look at Sukuna, because this man had an even better excuse to feel himself. He terrorized the Heian era, 1,000 years before the story even starts, and in that entire millennium, nobody beat him. He wasn't treated like a fighter with a record. He was treated like a weather event, something you survive. So when Sukuna finally claws his way back into a body, 1,000 years after his first death, he moves exactly like Rome moved, untouchable, permanent, above the rules everybody else lives by. And by the final arc, he's got receipts, because the one man who could actually check him, Gojo Satoru, is already gone. Sukuna killed the strongest sorcerer of the modern age with his own hands. So from where Sukuna's standing, the board is clear, no bigger empire left on the map. And that right there is the most dangerous moment in the life of anything that thinks it's eternal. Because the threat was never coming from something bigger. It was coming from inside himself. Mistake number 1. They both got too big. Rome stretched itself across 3 continents, and every extra mile of border was another mile somebody had to stand on and defend. The exact thing that made Rome scary, endless expansion, is what stretched it too thin to hold. It literally conquered its way into a shape it could not protect. Now watch Sukuna's last fight, and count how many things this man is juggling. He's not just fighting in his own body. He carjacked Megumi Fushiguro, and is wearing the kid like a rental suit. Then he steals Megumi's technique on top of that, and summons Mahoraga, a Shikigami so unhinged even Sukuna can't fully control it. Then he starts throwing out Malevolent Shrine, his domain, over and over, when a domain is the single most expensive move in all of Jujutsu. Every one of those plays is Sukuna reaching further and grabbing more. And it's not just territory he's overspending. Rome went broke doing this exact thing. It drained the treasury and started watering down its own silver coins to pay for wars it could not stop starting. By the end, a Roman coin was mostly tin with a rumor of silver in it. Sukuna runs the cursed energy version of that scam on himself. Domain after domain, Mahoraga on the field, spending like the tank underneath him is bottomless. That tank has a floor. But Overreach has a nasty feature. While it's happening, it looks exactly like winning. He looks unstoppable. Rome looked unstoppable. Both of them were getting thinner every single minute, and nobody in the building noticed, including them. Mistake number 2. And this is the one that actually ends them both. Rome ran out of Romans. So it started hiring the people it had already conquered to do its fighting. Whole tribes, Goths, Vandals, Franks, on the payroll, inside Roman armor. They called them the foederati, which is Latin for we outsourced national security. But a soldier who fights for a paycheck is loyal to the paycheck. In the year 476, a Germanic commander, a man on Rome's own payroll, wearing Rome's own armor, walked up to the last emperor and told him to clock out. His name was Odoacer. That's it. That's the fall of the Western Roman Empire. No monster at the gates. Rome got deleted by the very hand it was feeding. Now watch how Sukuna actually dies. Because it is the same move with extra steps. Sukuna's whole survival plan was spreading himself out. 20 fingers. Indestructible. Scattered across Japan for 1,000 years. So no single death could ever really finish him. That scattering was his masterpiece. It was also his Odoacer. Because one of those fingers is still loose during the final battle. Nobara Kugisaki puts resonance on it and attacks his soul directly, from the inside, straight past every defense he owns. His own scattered power became the doorbell his enemies rang. And the finishing blow runs on the same logic. Yuji can't just beat Sukuna's body, because Sukuna is hiding inside Megumi. So Yuji learns to punch the soul. He lands a black flash on the exact seam between Sukuna's cursed energy and Megumi's soul, hurting the curse without killing his friend. Read that back. Sukuna got beaten from inside his own stolen body. Every wall this man built to make himself untouchable is the exact wall they climbed through. Mistake number 3 is the one hiding underneath the other 2. By the end, Rome had nobody. Generals were fighting each other over the throne, while the borders were literally on fire. There was no us left in the empire. Just powerful men, each one standing alone. And Sukuna is the purest version of that ever put on a page. So quick question, who the hell was in Sukuna's corner for the final fight? Take your time, I'll wait. Nobody. This man spent 1,000 years needing no one and taking whatever he wanted, and it worked, right up until the exact second it didn't. Because look at the other side of the field. Yuji Itadori is not alone. He's got Megumi. He's got Nobara. He's got Yuta, Maki, a whole roster of sorcerers pouring everything into one coordinated plan. It's one isolated king versus a group project where everybody actually did the work. And then Yuji says the quiet part out loud. He looks at the King of Curses and tells him, "You are me," and he's right. Born the same way, cursed from day one. The only real difference is Yuji had his grandfather. One bond. One old man who told him to help people, and that single connection is the entire reason Yuji grew into a hero instead of a monster. Sukuna never had that, and he never let anyone in. So when the end finally came, the strongest curse in history stood there with absolutely nobody at his back. All that self-sufficiency? It was loneliness that had never once been tested. And because I know y'all aren't done, honorable mentions. The little parallels that didn't fit in the main three. For centuries after Rome fell, kings could not stop wearing its name. Kaiser in Germany, Tsar in Russia. Both of those words are literally just Caesar with an accent. Rome was gone and Europe still measured every ruler against it. Sound familiar? The four-armed menace has been dead for a whole arc, and this fandom still measures every character against him. He's the Caesar of power scaling. And one more, because this one is low-key rude. Rome's very last emperor was a teenager named Romulus Augustulus, and when Odoacer took over, he didn't even bother executing him. He looked at the kid, said keep the allowance, and sent him off to retire in the countryside. The empire ended with a severance package. Hold that thought, because Sukuna gets offered the exact same deal, and what he does with it is the whole ending. So how does the King of Curses actually go out? Chapter 268. The fight is over, and Sukuna's body is scraps. And Yuji Itadori, the kid whose friends he tortured, looks at what's left of him and offers to carry him, one more time, willingly, after everything. And Sukuna says no. Rome's last emperor took the severance package and lived. Sukuna would rather stop existing than owe one person one thing. So he crumbles into dust like any other curse. And his last words are the same ones he said the day he met Yuji. Consistent to the very end. He never once learned the thing that was killing him. And neither did Rome. So run it back one time. Both of them were the strongest force of their entire age. Neither one was beaten by something bigger, because there was nothing bigger. They just made the same quiet bet, 1,500 years apart, that being strong enough means never needing anyone. Rome made that bet and lost an empire. Sukuna made that bet and lost, period. Overreach was never about size. It was loneliness, with an army. And if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear this. Sukuna is in Japan's actual history books, real ones, from 1,300 years ago, and they say he was the good guy. But that's the next video.